What if I told you that the most dangerous threat to your health isn't something you catch, but something you've been taught to ignore? Imagine a master assassin living inside your own home. It doesn't use a weapon. Instead, it uses your own daily habits as its camouflage. It disguises itself as the indigestion you blame on that spicy meal. It wears the mask of that nagging backache you attribute to a bad night's sleep. It even mimics the simple fatigue you dismiss as just another birthday. For decades, the health narrative has been focused on loud, dramatic symptoms. But what if the deadliest secrets are hidden in the quietest whispers? There is a silent predator inside the human body, a form of cancer so deceptive that it has quietly become one of the most lethal killers in the modern world, surpassing even breast and prostate cancer in mortality rates in many countries. And here is the most shocking truth, a truth that the system seems reluctant to highlight. Your body screams for help for months, sometimes even a full year, before it's too late. But nearly everyone is deaf to the warnings. Why? Because you haven't been taught the language. You've been conditioned to overlook the very clues that could save your life. Today, that conditioning ends. In this video, we are not just going to list symptoms. We are going to decode the secret language of your body. I am going to reveal 8 of the most commonly misinterpreted, harmless signals that, when they appear together, create a blaring red alert for pancreatic cancer. A diagnosis that a staggering 80% of people only receive when the game is already in its final unwinnable stage. Pay close attention, because the knowledge I'm about to share isn't just power. It's your armor against a silent enemy. Let's start with the first and most cunningly disguised clue: the great digestive deception. This is where the disease begins its masterful illusion. It starts in your gut, the one place where we are all accustomed to occasional trouble. But what's happening here is not occasional. It's a deliberate, systematic sabotage of your digestive system. Deep behind your stomach lies your pancreas. Think of it as the unsung hero of your digestive system, a small but mighty factory producing powerful enzymes. These enzymes are the workers that break down fats, proteins, and carbohydrates into fuel your body can actually use. When a tumor begins its hostile takeover, it often blocks the main duct, like a boulder blocking the factory's main gate. The workers, the enzymes, can't get out. Production grinds to a halt. The result is digestive chaos, designed to be mistaken for something else. The first trick it plays is called the phantom fullness. You sit down to eat, genuinely hungry. But after just a few bites of your favorite meal, an overwhelming sense of fullness hits you. It's not the pleasant satisfaction of a good meal. It's a premature, uncomfortable bloating that forces you to put your fork down. This happens because the tumor may be physically pressing on your stomach, or because the digestive process has become so inefficient that food just sits there, going nowhere. This leads directly to the second part of the deception: constant bloating and unexplained gas. Because food is not being broken down, it begins to ferment in your stomach and intestines. This creates a relentless, gassy pressure. You might blame it on beans or gluten or lactose. You might spend a fortune on probiotics and antacids, but the feeling of being perpetually inflated doesn't go away. It's the cancer creating a diversion, making you look for the wrong culprit. But the most damning piece of evidence, the one that the disease cannot hide, is the evidence in the toilet bowl. I know this is a private topic, but we must talk about it. When your body can't break down or absorb fat, it has to get rid of it. This results in stools that are a pale, clay-like color. They appear greasy, oily, and will often float. And they have an unusually foul smell that is distinctly different from normal. The medical term is steatorrhea, I call it a 911 call from your pancreas. It's a sign that should never, ever be ignored. Think of a man named Mark, a 64-year-old high school history teacher from Pennsylvania, a true meat and potatoes guy. He suddenly found that he could barely finish half his dinner. He felt constantly bloated and blamed it on getting old. He cut out dairy, then bread. Nothing worked. It was only much later that he realized his digestive system wasn't failing him. It was being sabotaged from within. The second decoded message: the pain that pretends. This isn't the sharp, obvious pain of a broken bone. This is a far more insidious ache, a master of disguise. It typically starts as a dull, persistent pain deep in the upper abdomen, right below the breastbone. But here is its signature move. It often radiates straight through to the back. Many people describe it as a constant, deep-seated pressure, a band of discomfort that wraps around their midsection. Why this specific pattern? The pancreas lives in a very crowded, prime real estate location in your body, nestled among a dense network of nerves and major organs. As a tumor grows, it begins to invade this space, pressing on these highly sensitive nerves. This is what generates that unique radiating pain. Two things make this pain particularly revealing. First, it often gets significantly worse after you eat, when the digestive system is called into action. Second, it tends to intensify when you lie flat on your back, and is often relieved by leaning forward. This is because leaning forward physically lifts the pressure off those impinged nerves. This was Mark's second missed clue. He was convinced he had a chronic back problem from years of standing in the classroom. He started seeing a chiropractor and doing stretching exercises. The temporary relief he got from leaning forward during his stretches convinced him he was on the right track, never realizing he was simply performing the classic maneuver that eases pancreatic pain. He was treating the echo, not the source. The third sign is a public announcement the disease is forced to make: the yellow warning. While many of the other signs are subtle whispers, this one eventually becomes a shout. I'm talking about jaundice. This is the distinct yellowing of the skin, and, more noticeably at first, the whites of the eyes. Jaundice is not a disease itself, but a clear sign that something is very wrong with the plumbing of your digestive system. Your liver produces a yellow substance called bilirubin as it breaks down old red blood cells. Normally, this bilirubin flows through a tube called the bile duct, passes through the pancreas, and enters the intestines, where it gives stool its brown color. But a tumor, especially at the head of the pancreas, acts like a dam, blocking this duct. The bile has nowhere to go. It backs up like a blocked drain, spilling bilirubin into the bloodstream. But here's a critical early warning secret. Before your skin or eyes turn yellow, your body tries to dump the excess bilirubin through your kidneys. This results in urine that becomes consistently dark, often described as tea-colored or cola-colored. This happens even if you are drinking plenty of water. At the same time, because the bilirubin isn't reaching your intestines, your stools will become pale and chalky. So you have this classic deadly combination: dark urine and pale stools. This is an undeniable sign of a blockage, and it demands immediate medical attention. This was the symptom that finally shattered Mark's denial. His wife commented one morning that his eyes looked sallow. He'd noticed his urine was dark, but blamed it on not drinking enough water. But when he connected the dots, the phantom fullness, the unrelenting back pain, and now the yellow tint in his eyes, he could no longer pretend it was just getting older. The fourth sign is a silent energy crisis: the unshakable fatigue. This is not the tiredness you feel after a long week at work. This is a profound cellular-level exhaustion, a kind of fatigue where you can sleep for 10 hours and wake up feeling like you've just run a marathon. It's a weakness that seeps into your bones and makes simple tasks, like carrying a bag of groceries or walking up the stairs, feel like climbing Mount Everest. What's causing this? The cancer is like a thief in the night. Its rapidly dividing cells are incredibly greedy, consuming a massive amount of your body's energy and nutrients. They are literally starving your healthy cells of the fuel they need to function. Furthermore, your body's immune system mounts a massive inflammatory response to fight the cancer. And this prolonged state of internal warfare is incredibly draining. This crushing fatigue is so dangerous because it's so easy to normalize. We live in a sleep-deprived, overworked society. It's tragically easy to say, "Of course I'm tired." But this is a fatigue that doesn't improve with rest, coffee, or vacation. It's a persistent, worsening drain on your life force. And it is a classic hallmark of a hidden malignancy. The fifth, and perhaps most urgent, red flag: the treacherous blood clot. This is the symptom that often leads to a diagnosis in the emergency room. For reasons that are still being fully understood, pancreatic cancer makes the blood dangerously sticky and prone to clotting. It releases chemicals that throw the body's finely tuned coagulation system into chaos. Most often, these clots form in the large veins of the legs, a condition called deep vein thrombosis, DVT. The signs are usually confined to one leg: sudden swelling, a strange warmth, redness, and a deep cramp-like pain that doesn't go away. A DVT is a medical emergency in itself, but the truly life-threatening scenario unfolds if a piece of that clot breaks off and travels to the lungs, causing a pulmonary embolism, PE. The signs are terrifying and sudden: an abrupt and severe shortness of breath, a sharp pain in the chest that stabs with every deep breath, a racing heart, and a feeling of impending doom. Consider the story of a 55-year-old woman named Carol. An avid tennis player, she developed a swollen, painful calf. She assumed it was a sports injury. A few days later, while walking to her car, she suddenly felt like she couldn't get enough air. She was rushed to the hospital. They found the PE that was starving her lungs of oxygen and traced it back to a DVT in her leg. The doctors knew an unprovoked clot in a healthy, active person is a major red flag for an underlying issue. The subsequent full-body scan revealed the hidden cause: a small, silent tumor on her pancreas. The clot was its first and nearly its last. Calling card. The final clues in this puzzle are a strange, recurring fever and physical changes a doctor can detect. A low-grade fever that comes and goes without any other signs of infection, often accompanied by chills or drenching night sweats, can be another sign. This is your immune system in overdrive, reacting to the inflammation caused by the cancer. It's not the high fever of the flu. It's a persistent, unsettling fluctuation in your body's thermostat. Finally, during a physical examination, a skilled doctor may be able to detect a swollen gallbladder or an enlarged liver. When the bile duct is blocked, bile backs up not just into the bloodstream, but into the gallbladder itself, causing it to swell. This can sometimes be felt as a distinct lump on the right side of the abdomen. It's a tangible physical sign of the internal obstruction. So, now you know the language. What do you do? The signs of this disease are not loud, but they are clear. They are a pattern, a puzzle. One of these symptoms on its own might be nothing: indigestion, back pain, fatigue. We've all had them. But when these clues start to appear together, when the digestive issues are joined by that specific back pain, when the fatigue is paired with that dark urine, that is not a coincidence. That is a conspiracy. That is your body's desperate attempt to get your attention. By learning to decode these messages, you are fundamentally changing the odds. You are transforming vague anxiety into concrete information. You can walk into your doctor's office and say, "I am experiencing X, Y, and Z, and I am concerned about my pancreas." You become an advocate for your own health, armed with the knowledge that most people tragically lack. The purpose of this video was not to create fear, but to demolish ignorance. Ignorance is what gives this disease its power. Your awareness is what takes that power away. If this information has resonated with you, if you feel it is important, then please help me spread this awareness. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, and most importantly, share this video. Send it to your parents, your friends, anyone you care about who is over 40. It is a simple click that could arm someone with the life-saving knowledge they need. Thank you for your time and your attention. Listen to the whispers before they become screams. Your awareness today is the most powerful tool for a healthier tomorrow. Be vigilant and be well.